Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard Count Football Podcast Live. My name is Jacob Charnow, leading the next generation of football fans live on the Hard Count Football YouTube channel, and of course right here on 1252 Sports Chicago. Guys, it is April 10th. We are, April 29th is the draft. So like I say, I come back with the time frame every week. We're less than 3 weeks away from the draft. Of course, it's super exciting. Everyone's team, in one way or another, there are draft implications, whether your team's picking in the top 5, in the middle rounds, or at the end of the first round, because every team has needs and every team looks to address those needs during the draft. Of course, I will be live on draft night, April 29th. Come check me out. I'll be reacting live to everything going on, picks, trades, whatever's all the craziness that happens on draft night. I'll have an open link available if you want to come in and join and talk to me while the draft is going on. So it's always super exciting. I did it last year. It was a ton of fun, and you guys should definitely check it out because we're going to have a blast over there. But today, we have a ton of news to talk about. We're going to be joined with Harry the Greek in just a second. We're going to talk about some of these trades, some contract extensions, and at the end of all that, we're going to go through, because Harry does host the over-under on Friday nights. We're going to talk about the over-unders on some win totals on some teams, and we'll get his thoughts on that, and I'll give mine, of course. So with that being said, I say we get Harry in here right away. Harry, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, good morning. How are you?
I am doing really, really well. How are you?
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful day in Tampa Bay. Hello to my peeps in Chicago. Little weather update. It's our last cold front. I woke up, it was about 60 degrees. Right now it's about 69, 70. After that, we're going to go back into the 80s. Feel bad for me, man. I mean, it's just I had to wear a long sleeve shirt last night.
Poor you. It's in North Jersey. We're just our spring is coming. It's I want to say today is a little bit colder. It's probably going to be high of like 50, but tomorrow it's going to jump up all the way to like 63, 64, and then 71 on Tuesday, which is nice.
Beautiful. It's almost beach weather. You're almost the temperature of the Atlantic Ocean in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, almost.
I think what's it, 72 degrees up in your area? What beach do you go to when you go up there? You go to Brighton Beach? Where do you go?
No, it depends. Sometimes I'll go to, Lavalette, Beach Haven.
Beach Haven's cool.
Yeah, around there. More, it's the farthest that my friends will go that I know of is Wildwood, which is like all the way down south, or Cape May maybe, but that's not really. I don't really count that as a beach day. That's kind of more of a vacation.
It's like a little bit of a vacation day.
It's like I get it. Yeah, it's like a getaway.
So what's going on, man? Some tragic news has happened already this week. It's very sad. I'm not going to break that. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but a lot of exciting things are happening. The Major League Baseball is getting underway. The New York Yankees, New York Yankees, they actually, Garrett Cole went 7 innings. They could have got beat, but they didn't. Wow. I mean, it's just been exciting. The Chicago White Sox with all their injuries. Boy, I can't wait to dig in today, Jacob. It's always great to wake up on a Sunday morning, and I really hope everybody's having a good day today.
Yep, but before we get into all that, the exciting stuff, let's talk about the tragic news that broke yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins, first round draft pick by Washington in 2019, played for the Steelers last year. He died at 24 in Florida after being hit by a truck on the highway.
A dump truck.
The dump truck, which is, it's awful. I mean, you can't even really begin to say how awful it is.
I don't want to sound like an asswipe, okay? But I mean, I don't want to be like that guy from ESPN or wherever the hell he was, and he sent a tweet out. And if you haven't heard about it, I didn't even want to say the guy's name, but he said, "quote unquote," Dwayne Haskins, the quarterback that struggled, first round draft pick from Washington, dead. What does that have to do with his performance? I didn't understand that, but I'll tell you what. If you guys know who it is out there, if you're following him on social media, I'm going to be the first one to say it. Just don't even follow him anymore. I can't believe he did something like that. That is just so horrible. But let's speculate. Why was he on the highway?
I don't know.
What was he doing? Does anybody know? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's tragic. I mean, you would think I was out partying with my friends. I had an accident because I drank too much. I mean, anybody can speculate.
What I
out on the highway.
Car. I don't know. I heard stuff about maybe his car breaking down on the highway, and he got out. I don't really know the exact details. I don't know when they come out. We'll talk about them, but
Bottom line is he's
it's hard
dead.
to speculate. Yeah.
He's dead, and
Yeah.
a young man. He's far too short. Forget his accolades, what he did in college, and he's a human being, 24 years old. God rest his soul. Pray for his family. My condolences to the Haskins family and everybody that loved him.
Likewise, absolutely. But after that, let's get into some, actual some more uplifting things, Harry. In terms of not just football, but around the league, around sports. Like I said,
Okay.
the Masters. I've been watching a lot of golf, more than I have in my entire life. And my boy, who I picked to win, Scotty Scheffler, right now 9 under, through heading into the last day. In second place, Cam Smith of Australia. I think he's 6 under right now. I believe. They're all teeing off around 230, 240. So if Scotty Scheffler can hold on, I mean, he's had a couple crazy days. The back nine yesterday, he struggled a little bit. I think he bogeyed on like 3 holes, including the last one. But if he can golf like he did the first 2 days and the first 9 of yesterday, he should have this thing in the bag. How much of the Masters have you caught so far, Harry?
Well, nothing personal, and I know everybody assumes that I love all sports because I gamble, and that's just not true. I'd like to play golf. You didn't hear the word love. I like to play golf, but I'd rather watch grass grow than watch golf on TV. But I have been a little bit intrigued about what has been happening. Scheffler is a great golfer. I have watched him. I knew that he was 9 under. I actually thought he was 8 under, but you're correct. It's 9. I was verifying it when you're saying that. But I'm more intrigued about the Tiger Woods story about this
Yeah,
guy just couldn't walk, and everywhere he was teeing off, like in the practice rounds, it was like 150 yards. There was just a sea of people. I mean, just down the fairway on both sides. I mean, it's a blessing for what he did.
absolutely, man. It's a crazy comeback, but it was fun. He would put a ball like into the woods off the tee, and they'd clap for him. They'd root for him.
Ah!
Because
He was at the he was at the Innisbrook golf course here just a couple of years ago, and Bridgestone sponsored it. I don't know if you've ever heard of Innisbrook before. It's where they had the J.C. Penney Classic.
Okay.
And that particular location is about 15 minutes north of where my physical location is here. And I had a chance to go there when they were playing on the, I think it was the Copperhead course. There's 3 courses there. And the mobs of people that were there, and I was able to get in ahead of time because I was credentialed because of being with Bridgestone. And there were thousands of people around. It was just like unbelievable. And there's people out there going, "Hey, hey, 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 shh, shh, shh. Here comes Tiger." I was like, Jesus is walking down
Yeah.
the fairway. It was just unbelievable. It was something that I'll never forget, and that's what piqued my interest this much about golf. But go ahead.
Yeah, I this is the most golf I've ever watched in my life.
Right.
But something about sitting home and like just enjoying eating something nice, just watching some golf, taking a possible golf nap.
Yeah, that's it. That's great.
A golf nap where the TV's on low and you hear the nice announcers announcing golf and you fall. It's a nice nap. And you
And
wake
you
up
wake up.
for golf. It's great.
That's
I
almost like a
really
Vince
enjoy it.
Scully nap. Do you know what a Vince Scully nap
Yeah,
is?
yeah, yeah,
Vince Scully, and he's getting up to the plate, and
yeah.
it's strike 3. I mean, bro, I love listening to old Dodger games when I'm laying in bed because remember we're Eastern time, they're West Coast time. You'd be like, you wouldn't last an inning and a half. But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of baseball, though, the Yankees, my Yankees, 2-0. Anthony Rizzo. We might have to give Anthony Rizzo the Tiger Woods treatment after what he's done the last couple games. Some rough starts for the Yankees pitchers, but Anthony Rizzo has made up for it. Giancarlo Stanton, both of them homered in the first 2 games of the season. Dating back to last year, Giancarlo Stanton has homered now through 6 straight, which was a weird thing. It was a weird thing that they traced it all the way back to last year's playoffs, and they said 6 straight games, like there wasn't like 6 or 7 months in between where like they played.
In 6 straight games.
Yeah, but
Giancarlo Stanton.
yeah,
Hey, trivia question: what's Giancarlo Stanton real name?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Someone out there is going to go ahead and post a comment. Hey, if you have a question or comment, don't forget to leave a comment.
Exactly.
We'll read it live on the air.
Go ahead. We'll read it and we'll answer your questions or we'll answer your comments. Yeah, but there's the main focus of this show, which we'll get into 11 minutes in, is football. So we'll start here with some news. Brandon Cooks of the Texans, him and the Texans agreed on a contract extension after some possible trade talks. 2 years, $39.6 million. So he gets a nice payday.
Cooks, the receiver from the Rams.
Yeah. He was
went to Houston.
Fun fact, he is he's been traded for the most first round picks of any other player. That's a real stat.
That's pretty strong.
I don't know.
So now my boy Davis Mills has someone to legitimately throw the ball to?
He had him last year. He was there last year. Brandon Cooks.
Who am I thinking of from the Rams?
No, you're thinking of Brandon Cooks. He was just there last year too.
Who was hurt for the Rams that hasn't came back and they ended up getting
Robert Woods?
Thank you. Robert Woods. Woods.
Robert Woods went to the
forgive me. Just forgive me, Jacob, and the people out there. I'm 55, double nickel. My mind's starting to go.
Yeah, sure.
I need some CoQ10.
Yeah. No, Robert Woods though went to the Titans. So it's another target now. And speaking of the Titans, AJ Brown, Mike Vrabel says that there's no way in hell that they trade AJ Brown. So we'll put those rumors to bed.
That means he's gone.
Yeah, no, we'll put those rumors to bed right now of AJ Brown going anywhere. That was the less realistic option. The big name I'm still hearing, DK Metcalf. We'll see what happens with him. I'm tired of hearing.
I hear they're going to. I hear there's a big play for him to go to the New York Jets. There's been a little scuttlebutt. You can forget about Green Bay. They're not going to give up that kind of draft capital for anybody.
And Seahawks wouldn't send him in the NFC either. It's hard for John Schneider in the Seahawks shareholders meeting and the Seahawks front office to sell to them that they're trading their best player to a team that fleeced them 2 years ago for 2 first-round picks for a safety. You know, it's a hard thing. I
think he's going to the Jets. I'm sorry. I really do.
I would love that. I still think he is too, but I don't know. It's just a hard thing to sell right now for the Seahawks, especially if they want to bring in a quarterback in the draft or want to maybe roll out with Drew Lock and give him any chance of succeeding. There's no way you can get rid of your best receiver.
Let's get into some over-unders, brother. Come on.
We'll do that. I got some more news.
I love over-unders.
We'll end with that, Harry. We'll end with it.
We're teasing me now.
I know. Sam Darnold was on a podcast this week. He was on, I think it's Boston with the Boys. It's Will Compton's podcast.
Only you would know this. You know that, right?
And Sam Darnold said that he knows he's still a good quarterback in this league. Harry, my question for you, because we date this back. Let's go back to April of March or April 2021.
Okay, last year.
Yeah. Not to call you the
go ahead. Do me a favor. I know you've already probably brought up the video. Go ahead.
I have it.
Bring it up, buddy. Bring it up.
But not to call you like the Darnold whisperer or anything, but or a fanboy perhaps. But you said Sam Darnold. The Jets were making the wrong decision by getting rid of him.
They were, but they didn't do anything different by bringing in Zach Wilson. It hasn't really made an improvement yet, but they're going to this year. Bring up my video, and then I'm going to explain to you why I did that. Go ahead.
I don't have the video, but my question for you, Harry.
Thank you, Jesus.
Is can Sam Darnold still be successful in Carolina?
No.
Because
I have to eat my words. Please
the Carolina Panthers are thinking about bringing in a quarterback, obviously. And they're probably the favorite to take a quarterback. My guess is Malik Willis in the top 10, pick number 6. And Darnold said that he told Joe Douglas when they traded him that he made the wrong decision by getting rid of him. Are the Panthers making the wrong decision would the Panthers be making the wrong decision by drafting a quarterback and replacing Darnold? And has Darnold's time in this league passed as a starting quarterback?
You know Open mouth, insert foot. Go ahead. Look, I really like. You can go full screen. I don't mind. I like that. I like to look at myself.
All right, go ahead.
I'm kidding.
Go ahead.
But anyway, Sam Darnold, I really thought had all the tools to become an NFL quarterback. and be a very successful quarterback in the National Football League. I thought that making that change to go to Carolina with the two good wide receivers and Christian McCaffrey when he was healthy and the offensive line that they had, I seen a lot of upside for him. And I was like, man, this is the shot this young man needs. The Jets made a huge mistake. When in fact, they didn't make a huge mistake. The problem with Sam Darnold, you see, Harry the Greek is only a little bit wrong. The Jets killed him, okay? And they killed his confidence, and he's never going to be any good. So therefore, he should just be a backup. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
All right. I agree. I think he should just be a backup. I think he could be a backup.
Right.
I think he's
But
better
the
than
Jets,
a lot of backups.
but I'm only taking partial responsibility of my actions. The Jets killed him.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the Jets.
No, man, he's just I misread him. I don't think his confidence is there, and you know, and that brings up another quarterback that I think they're going to do the same thing to is Baker Mayfield. They played Baker hurt last year so much it wasn't even funny. And again, I am not a Baker Mayfield supporter, but this guy's got a ton of talent, and he's got such a will to win. It's not even funny. Okay, you can't deny that, but you cannot put someone out there and not be successful when they're literally trying to play on one leg.
Yeah, sure. I think Baker, we saw the talent there with Baker during his rookie year and during his second year. The problem with Baker, yes, he played hurt. The problem is his decision. Can he carry? He has the Jimmy G problem, in my opinion, where
he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, man. He's
no,
got
but he has that problem
arm.
where he has, he has talent. He's a talented quarterback. He can be a starting quarterback, but can he carry a team to a Super Bowl on his own? If you were to take him out of the system with that running game, and you were trying to
healthy, if he's healthy, yeah,
the quarterback right now, I can't see him carrying a team that would win 4 or 5 games without him to 9, 10 wins. I can't do it.
I do, because if he can do it, if he stays healthy with that running game and the receiving core that they have, they can. I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to have to this year, because I'm making a prediction, okay, that Deshaun Watson doesn't even play half the games, if any of the games this year. There are more allegations coming out now that they've reopened the investigations because they have so many women, allegedly, that said, oh, he was just a great guy. Now they're reopening the investigation per Ray Kennedy that I was talking to last night, and I haven't read this personally, that they're going to find out whether or not they had intercourse or sex with him. Now that opens up something even broader. Okay. The NFL cannot turn a blind eye to it, and they cannot say that, hey, look, last year he didn't play, he served his time. No, he was never suspended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this could be one of the biggest fleece jobs that ever occurred on two teams for the amount that they gave up, because his money's guaranteed, number one, and number two, all those picks are guaranteed to go to Houston. So you better make sure that Baker Mayfield, and that's why they haven't gotten rid of him, because they know he's a really good quarterback. He just needs to stay healthy. They ain't trading him.
The problem, who was he going to throw to now, though? They got Amari Cooper. I'll give him that, right? But Amari Cooper isn't on the field half the season.
Okay, granted, they have they have good tight ends. They have a formidable wide receivers. No, they don't have OBJ, and Jarvis Landry's gone too, correct?
Yeah, he's still
okay.
Free, but I think he's gonna.
Okay, but what I'm saying is there are going to be other people. They're going to go ahead and solidify the rest of their wide receiver core. Are they going to be as good in receivers as they were last year? No, but you don't have to have those star-studded wide receivers when you have that two-headed monster into the backfield.
Yes,
I don't care. Okay, you and I could line up in the X and Y position when you're running the ball 30 times a game, and they're dropping 8 and 9 into the box, and they're leaving us wide open on the outsides. I'm sorry. I mean, you don't have to have the superstar studded receivers. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. I want to put that narrative to bed.
But what happens, and here's my thing. Do you think the Browns can win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield?
Yes.
Okay, but so I don't personally think that, but you take a team with a good defense, a good offensive,
a healthy Baker Mayfield. Can I please?
Sure.
You have to.
Yes.
I don't want to put words in my mouth. A healthy Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Yes, they can win a Super Bowl with him.
Okay. So let's take the offensive line they have now. Let's take their defense, which is a good defense, solid offensive line, a great run game, and some okay receivers. And you
Okay.
have a mediocre quarterback. I don't think that team can win a Super Bowl, Harry.
I don't
Because
think
you know
they're
what that team
mediocre.
becomes? They become the Indianapolis Colts. And then the Colts are a team that I consistently think are going to make it to the playoffs and make a deep run into the playoffs. And the quarterback play disappoints me, and lack of receivers.
This year,
The lack
this year they're not going to disappoint you, sir. I can tell you that right now. The Indianapolis Colts will not disappoint you this year.
they need to add another receiver is what they need.
Yes, they can get another receiver, but they definitely
How
fix
much
that
Michael
quarterback
Pittman,
position.
look how much Michael Pittman helped out this offense. As soon as they commit to getting a better receiver and transforming this offense, imagine now you have Michael Pittman, right? You get a good receiver. The only problem is with the quarterback now in Indianapolis, and now I think in Cleveland. And now if Deshaun Watson plays, I think Cleveland is a team that can absolutely win a Super Bowl this year. I think they can make it to the AFC Championship. I think that's a team that could win their division.
Even after not playing an entire year.
Yes, over
I
the
want you to really think about that for a second.
Yeah.
How much football shape is so you don't think he's going to get suspended?
I'm saying if he plays. I don't know if he's going to. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know anything.
I'm going to make you a prediction. He doesn't play the next 2 years. How about that?
If
any of these allegations come up, anything minutely true, he's done. He's done. There is no way, especially with the cancel culture that's out there right now and everybody else in the Me Too movements and everything else. There is zero chance this guy's ever going to. There's so much pressure on Deshaun Watson as a person. Forget about being the quarterback. Just as being a person in today's society, it would really hamper him. But you know what? I hope the allegations aren't true. I don't want to see anybody suffer the way the way he's going to suffer. But if he did commit these atrocities that they're saying, let me tell you something.
Yeah, then it goes past football.
Then it goes beyond past football. But really, when you're in your early 20s, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making excuses. People are gonna make mistakes. People have hormones, okay? And when you're a young athlete and you're a multi-millionaire, you know what? Who knows? Maybe he wasn't popular in middle school and high school, and that was the only way that he could find himself, you know, companionship, to say the least. I don't know this to be true, and I'm not trying to dive down a rabbit hole, but that's the only excuse I could possibly make. Young and dumb. I mean, that's the only thing I can honestly say. If he did that, he was just being young and dumb. So do you persecute him? In today's society? Yeah, absolutely they will.
Yeah, I just don't know about the NFL. The NFL is their stance on crime from what we've
They're
seen.
hypocrites.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but look what happened with Ray Rice. Ben Roethlisberger. You want to bring that one up?
Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger is a perfect example.
Okay. Ray Lewis. Okay, let's go down that rabbit hole. I didn't do it because he was found not it because there was still reasonable doubt. He was still in the room. He was still in the vicinity that the person got killed in. He was there. Only him and God know if that happened. But what I'm saying is the NFL is a bunch of hypocrites. It can come to gambling. It can come to the way of spousal abuse, child abuse with Adrian Peterson. I can list a number of them. And all that happens is we just keep sweeping it under the rug and we just continue to watch football.
And all those guys you named off, right? The Ben Roethlisberger, Ray Lewis, AP, all those guys, they are or will be Hall of Famers.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's really insane. I think the NFL needs to step up. They need to make an executive decision and say, all right, well, we're trying to make a difference here. We're trying to change what people think about this league and how we view all this stuff. He's guilty. He's done. That's it. That's a ban, right? Look, he's done. You can't do it. The NFL needs to change how the public perceives them. They had to do it with the concussion stuff. They have to do it with this crime stuff now. They do.
I want to piggyback on something that you're talking about, and something that I'd like. Listen. I'm a very proud individual. If people that know me on a personal basis, it takes a lot for me to turn around and retract something and say, "Hey, I was wrong," or my opinion was wrong. Just like we did with Sam Darnold. You got a kick out of it. I got a kick out of it, and I'm learning. And I learned every single day. I'm not perfect. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to bring up another member and a Chicago icon by the name of Fred Hubner. Fred Hubner is the man that just recently retired from Chicago sports radio. He was started with, the guy's just an icon. And a lot of people know that I'm personal friends with Pete Rose. And Pete even knows my stance on what he did. And if he ever asked me, he hasn't actually asked me, but I've been public about it. Does he deserve in the Hall of Fame? No, he didn't. But after listening to the compelling argument about Pete Rose and Roger Clemens and Alex Rodriguez and Barry Bonds and everybody else, he said just about the steroid era. Forget about the gambling portion of it. Just the steroid era in baseball. He said they should be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm looking at this computer screen on my TV watching them going, are you nuts? But after listening with an open mind, I changed my mind. The man is right. They should be. Someone did get all those wins. Someone did get all those hits. You put them in there. Forget the asterisk. There's no reason to have an asterisk there. So, Fred Hubner, you were one reason why I've changed my mind on my stance on what baseball has done, and they are getting it wrong. You're right. They need to be in there because they did get those hits. They did get that. So the NFL can do the same thing. But when it comes to a crime, that's a different story. That now becomes an ethical issue.
Yeah.
And a moral issue. I'm sorry. I'm being a little bit, I'm not trying to be loquacious and take over your show, but I just wanted this little platform to go ahead and share that.
I just think my thing with Watson now, right? So let's say he's found guilty and they suspend him for a year. We'll say they suspend him for 2 years. Now he comes back and he's still a Cleveland Brown. And the difference, a big difference, I think, in today's game versus 20 years ago. These guys have more, these players, not necessarily that they have more respect for themselves, but they have more respect for their public image, right? And it becomes about public image over winning a lot of the time. It does. That's the reality of it.
I hate to draw the comparisons, but if that happens, it becomes another Michael Vick situation. Don't draw the comparisons. We're not talking about abusing greyhounds versus abusing women's, okay? I mean, not greyhounds, dogs versus women. I'm not even trying to compare the two, but it does become the very similar issue. How much success did Michael Vick have when he came back?
I can tell you, it wasn't very good on the Jets.
That's, again, what are you getting? This man will be out of football for 1 year already, possibly 2 years, and to have that kind of pressure, nobody knows how this man's going to act. How are you going to act when you're going into an opposing football stadium and these people are chanting just vulgar things, nasty things that you're coming under? Is that going to make you motivated? No.
But here's what I'm saying. People don't want to play. People, if he's guilty, it's not about whether he's a top 10 quarterback in this league anymore. It's about, do I want to be viewed on a team? Do I want to, if I'm a free agent, I don't want to go to a team and have my public image and all my NIL deals and all my brand deals be associated with this guy who was found guilty of sexually assaulting women. That's a reality that's going to happen. And how Cleveland's front office didn't think of this before they traded for him. I said it very publicly on my show. Nobody should have traded for Deshaun Watson. There was not a single
team that
should have dealt picks for him and paid, and let alone pay him the amount of money that they did. The NFL my main point, the NFL has to figure this out. They have to get their stuff together. They do. They really do, because they cannot continue to have this hypocritical stance of players committing crimes like that. They can't, because it feels like it changes.
Gotta stop.
Josh Gordon couldn't play for 6 years because he smoked a little bit of weed.
I know. I
I
know.
understand it grew and his
And
addiction
and
grew,
you know what? And
but
again, I'm not
starting
trying to
with
be an
that.
advocate for drugs, but you can go to any doctor and every corner here in the state of Florida, literally every corner here in the state of Florida, you got a walk-in clinic. You
I,
can pay them $250 and they go, "What do you need pot for?" Well, I got this little bit of a pain right here, and smoking weed makes it feel better. Well, let me look at it. Okay, here, give me my 250. Here's your card. You're going to renew it once a year, and
I
you can take that card and you go to a dispensary and walk out with anything you want.
and I'd rather be known. I listen. Josh Gordon, everyone wants, and he's back in the league, but he should have been back in the league in 2014. He should not. I understand he needed to get better, and there was a point where he left on his own terms, as he should have, and great for him for getting better. But the fact that he got suspended for smoking weed and Ray Lewis did what he did, like I'd listen. If I'm looking at it today, I'd rather be known for smoking weed than sexually assaulting women. I think that's a fair statement to make. Because listen, Snoop Dogg's making $1 million a day off of it, and Josh Gordon, he was the receiving leader in 2013. He couldn't play for 6 years. He wasn't reinstated for 6 years.
Listen, you know what? On the over/under, I have a
You're
segment.
hypocritical. It is a hypocritical.
You're right. And this is why I'm going to bring up this part of the conversation on my show on Friday nights on the Over Under with my co host, Peter Blake. I have a segment in there called Prison Break Hot Takes. I'm not trying to solicit the show, but it's exactly what it is. It gives someone that's in the Department of Corrections in prison doing many, many, many years for crimes that they committed, whether they were atrocious or they were minor. But I can tell you for a fact, I've had people on my show that have stupid drug offenses that were old time drug offenses on what they call the 3-strike rule here in the state of Florida. Okay? Remember, young and dumb. We're talking about marijuana charges for possession, not even of great magnitude, that they're doing 20 to 25 years in prison for pot. Let me repeat it, pot, not even murder, pot. There are people that are doing involuntary manslaughter and they're out in 5 years. But because someone got busted with a joint twice back in the 90s before they changed the law, and then he got maybe popped with maybe an ounce of pot sitting on his possession, you get charged for 25 years. I'm going to give you another little story, and this is how it all ties together. I got a young man that works for me, and I'm not going to divulge his name, okay? And this young man is 20 years of age, and he got popped for driving recklessly in another county here in Florida. You following this so far?
Mm-hmm.
And because it's reckless, he had to go to court and he ended up having to do community service and community hours. Okay? This is a misdemeanor, not a felony. There were no people hurt, no nothing. 1 week ago, this man in this county, a separate county, got pulled over and said, "Hey, there's a warrant for your arrest." 20 years old. They book him into the Pinellas County Jail on a misdemeanor charge. And his father calls me up and says, "I'm really scared." And I was like, "Listen, he's going to be out tomorrow morning. He's going to go appear in front of a judge and they're going to release him on his own recognizance. Misdemeanor. He's still in jail. They won't let him out. They called it a violation of probation that he didn't finish his community hours for community service. We're talking about someone who's 20 years old that was driving an excessive speed and he's in jail for over a week. And do you know why they're holding him there? Because the county, 2 counties over, want to extradite him from this county to that county to be held accountable for his actions. So he's going to be in jail before he gets to see a courtroom for 4 weeks for a driving infraction, Jacob.
Yep.
So you tell me if that's for the general person, but there are players in the National Football League that could beat their children, commit atrocities in public, and because the NFL has money, they're able to scoop the crap up underneath the rug. But you got 20-year-old kids going to jail because they were reckless driving. I think one day would have been the trick, buddy. He's going to be in jail for 30 days.
Yeah, no, I agree. I said it before, I'll say it again.
That's Harry's hot take.
The hypocritical, that's not even a hot take. That's the right take. This is a hypocritical league. They need to figure it out. And if they don't, they'll continue the way they have for the last however long that they've existed. But, it just is how it is. It is how it is at this point, man. But we got some more NFL news. So let's
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
Get back on this path here. The Saints and the Eagles had a trade this week that affects the draft quite a lot. The Saints acquired the 16th and 19th pick from the Eagles in this year's first round, and the Eagles get pick 18, a 2023 first round pick, and a 2024 second round pick. So it's a big trade. This essentially gives the Saints a chance, who think they can win this year, a chance to acquire talent and keep that ball rolling. And the Eagles, it essentially sets them up, if they need to take a quarterback in next year's draft, if Jalen Hurts doesn't pan out this year. But both the Saints and the Eagles still have 2 first-round picks this year. The Eagles, I don't know what the Saints are trying to do, unless they're going to package the 16 and 19 together to try and trade up, maybe jump the Panthers for a quarterback, which I doubt, because I think they like Jameis and I like Jameis. But listen, it's a good trade for the Eagles. It really is. Gives them another first rounder next year, and they still get 2 first rounders this year, and they get to address 2 big needs. They still hold, pick 18 and then pick 17, I believe. So good for them, good for the Eagles, and good for the Saints. But we'll see how this shakes up the draft on draft night, just a couple weeks. Todd Bowles. Well, we'll start. Bruce Arians retires out of nowhere from the Bucs as the head coach, and Todd Bowles takes over as the new head coach of the Bucs. Good for Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, I mean, everyone knows I'm a Jets fan. Todd Bowles was dealt a bad hand in New York, under the McCagnon era, with a terrible cap situation and all that. No talent, no bad quarterback play. And I always said I thought he deserved another chance. And I know just from his time in New York and on the account of all the guys that played for him and the reporters that talked to him, he is a great dude. Good dude to be around. And I'm happy he's getting another chance. But Harry, how does this affect the Bucs? How does this affect the Bucs going into next year, if at all?
Well, you know what? I think that makes the Buccaneers a better team, because I was never really a Bruce Arians fan. The risk it, no biscuit, there's only enough of that you can do. I mean, even the great quarterbacks know that you have to play defense and, run the football. And that was very apparent when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, which was a really great game, just under 200 yards passing. They ran the ball more than they actually they passed for, attempts wise. But I do want to put one narrative to bed when you ask that question. Let's please stop talking about Byron Leftwich as a reason why Todd Bowles, is the head coach of this football team.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is the better candidate. This team needs to be known for its defense. They need to get a running game going. I promise you, Todd Bowles will have a running game in place. I promise you that they will have this. This risk it, no biscuit, they just threw that out of the window. This team just got a lot more dangerous because of Todd Bowles. You heard it first. Todd Bowles, in my opinion, will be more successful than BA ever will be.
All right, that's fair enough. I think Todd Bowles has. It's once again my issue with it. It was a problem with the Jets. You go from Rex Ryan to Todd Bowles. You go from a loud guy to a quiet guy.
2 great defensive-minded guys. And in my opinion, by the way, Todd Bowles is not on the same level defensively as a Rex Ryan. 2 totally different styles. Rex Ryan, his people were mean and extremely aggressive. Todd Bowles wasn't as aggressive. They blitzed a lot, but they never played with that chip on their shoulder like a Rex Ryan team.
Problem with
let me tell you something. Rex Ryan, man, if he could get out there and hit people, he would.
Yeah, the problem with that Jets team when Todd Bowles took over was they didn't have any leadership, right? You had to rely on coaching. I just don't think the Bucs have to do that, right? I mean, they obviously have Tom Brady. So that issue that happened with Todd Bowles in New York, that won't translate into his time with the Buccaneers. So I do like this Todd Bowles hire.
I
Or
love it. I
transition.
love it. It's going to be better for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because now all the pundits can shut up. Are they ever going to run the football? Oh yeah, they're going to run the football.
I promise
Trust me,
they're going to run the football.
They're going to run that football.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it, Harry. Finally, we're going to get into these over-unders.
I love it, man. I wish we had other people on here to do this with us.
Over-under win totals on
Give it to me.
On teams for this year. Let's start. The Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears win total next year is set right now at 7. 7 wins. You're saying the under. Why?
They've depleted this whole team. I'm not a big believer yet in the general manager or Matt Eberflus shit. I'm just not.
Yeah,
you can't break this whole team down completely and then not put the proper pieces around them. Can we talk about anybody else other than my Chicago Bears, please? Because it is really disgusting.
I think I'm going to take the under this year also. I think you do see development with Justin Fields.
Where?
I just think you see it with I think
where.
I just think
when did you see? All right, let's get into it because you know what? If Mike North is watching, he's going to agree with me. Where do you see it? They had a quarterback in Mitch Trubisky. Okay, now y'all grinding my gears now. They had a quarterback with Mitchell Trubisky that took them to the playoffs in 4 years twice under an inept coaching regime. Okay, horrible.
Mm-hmm.
You get rid of them to get the same exact player, except I think Justin Fields has a better deep ball with a little bit more accuracy. I don't see where the difference is, and you've now tore this team apart.
Yeah,
I've been wrong before. I doubt it, but they're going way under this year.
No, I'm going to take the under this year too. I think like you said, they really tore apart this defense.
They're still going to be good defensively. Don't get me wrong.
Be good because
they're not going to be what they were.
I like Eberflus as a defensive coach, but they need if they don't put some more talent around. No, the Bears got Ryan Griffin from the Jets. He was a Jets tight end. Yeah, over 12 wins for the Bears this year just because you got Ryan.
I'm done. See you later. Good night.
Just because you got Ryan Griffin. No, I really do. I'm going to take the under. I do think you see development with Justin Fields in terms of how quickly he throws the football, in terms of his pocket presence. You see those feet start to slow down, calm down a little bit. See him start to make the easy throws better. That's the development I really do think, and I think you start to see him throw outside the numbers a little bit better also.
Since you really wanted to bring up Justin Fields, they've already started talking about that they don't want him to be as mobile as what he once was. Jesus, that's what they did to Trubisky. They're going to kill this one too. The second thing is while he's still young, you better fix that hitch in his throwing motion because it's way too long. The ball's coming from Texas and releasing from Minnesota. It's like really long. He's got that long hitch. Not going to be good. Until he fixes that, they're going nowhere.
Yeah, so we're both taking the under on the Bears.
Yes.
Let's move on. The Dallas Cowboys, Harry. Their win total is set at 10.5. That's a tough line for the Cowboys. Because you have to remember, right? They're in a division where they're playing the Commanders, the Giants, and the Eagles 6 times on their schedule. Those are 6 games. I kind of like the over for the Cowboys this year, Harry.
Who do they play other?
I don't know.
In their division.
I don't know, but I like the Cowboys. I think Dak's coming back. I think I like Dak this year. I think Zeke is going to be much better than he was, much more effective than he was.
I'm not a big Cowboy fan.
I know you lose Amari Cooper, but you see that CeeDee Lamb development. Now it was here. It was already great. And now I think you start to see it skyrocket. And the man that you see that takes over and does what CeeDee Lamb did last year is Michael Gallup coming back off that injury. And I think that defense
they're going over this year by default. They're going over.
They're over 10.5. Are they going to win a Super Bowl? No way in hell they win a Super Bowl.
No, they're going to go over. They're going to win 12, 13 games this year because they're going to probably go 6-0 in their division.
Yeah, exactly. All right. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Harry. Their win total is set at 6.5.
That's a tough number.
That is a tough
Jacob,
number.
I got to tell you, that's a really tough number because you got to remember there's an extra game.
Yep.
Okay. I got to see, and I'm not prepared to answer that question right now, but I'm going to say pass. You need to go to Texas on that. You remember that, El Paso, Texas?
Yeah, I
Get it?
do.
But
Oh, I
anyway,
remember.
I'm going to say I'm going to go to Texas on that one until I see who else they're going to pick up, because I love the acquisitions that they've made, not from the players, but from the coaching staff. Just merely the coaching staff is going to make this team about 3 wins better. But that puts them right
That's about
about
five.
what they were going
Harry,
to
that
be.
puts about 5, so that's not very
Right,
impressive.
right. But then again, if they add a couple of pieces, they might be able to get to a game under or a game over. So you know what? I stay away from that one. Who's next?
I'm taking the under. I think they're a 5-6 win team this year, which puts them at the
Okay.
under. The Las Vegas Raiders. Their win total right now on FanDuel is set at 8. I'm taking the over.
Meanwhile, while the Raiders, the Chiefs, and get this, the Broncos are
Yeah,
set at 10.5. Play over.
I like the over on the Raiders.
Okay, play the over on the Raiders, because there's 2 teams in that division that won't hit 10 wins.
Yeah. I think the Raiders could win 9-10 games this year, though. I really do. I think they only got better. What did they lose? They got better. Right? They won 9 games last year.
They have it low because of the acquisitions that they've made with the Chargers. The additions of some players that came into Kansas City, or just Kansas City just staying stagnant, okay? Because Kansas City's Kansas City. But the real reason was Russell Wilson going to Denver. Do you have an over and under on that?
I don't.
Okay.
That was one of the teams I don't have.
It's
I'll look.
10.5. It's 10.5. Here's my lock of the year. You ready?
Denver is set at 10.5. You're right.
Under. Under. Book it. Definitely play the under.
My thing, I really like the Broncos. I think they're a 9-10 win football team, but that would be the under.
Under. Too many good teams in that division.
They're going to be better. They're definitely going to be better.
Whoever finishes 500 or better in their own division is going to win it. Who's that going to be? And I don't see it's going to be Denver. I just don't. Their defense is mediocre at best.
I'll say this. I think Kansas City finishes under 500 in the division this year.
Really? So you have either the Raiders, Broncos, or the Chargers winning it, and I'm going to say the last one, the Chargers.
I'll make an even bolder prediction if I'm looking at if I'm looking at it right now, Harry.
Go for it.
I think the Chargers win the division, followed by the Broncos.
Broncos in second?
This is going to be like the NFC West 2 years ago, Harry.
That's almost like saying the word Ryan Fitzpatrick to Stephen Glasgow.
I think it's. I'm telling you,
Chargers. Oh, talking about Steven. Look.
Oh, he's here. What up, Steven?
What's up, Steve? How you doing, brother?
Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders. And
I am going to have
might make the playoffs.
I am going to give you my prediction in that division in order. You ready?
Sure.
Kansas City on top, Denver in the basement. The 2 in the middle, I couldn't tell you. And I say 2 teams make the playoffs out of that division.
I think more if I'm pro Chiefs, Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders. I think the Raiders finish last in the division, but I still think they win more than 8 games.
You really think that the Raiders, with all those acquisitions, with all the acquisitions that they've made, are going to finish last in that division behind Denver?
And I still think they win more than 8 games.
Ouch. Ouch. That's pretty strong, brother. That's really impressive. That's really going out on a limb. That would be the first time that ever happened in the National Football League, by the way.
Really? All 4 teams make the playoffs? Listen.
I think so. Yeah.
This is right. Who else? Look at the rest of the NFC. The only other division.
AFC.
Sorry. Look at the rest of the AFC. What other division? Right? So it'll be competing with.
You've got the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, who are up and coming. You have the Buffalo Bills. You have the New England Patriots.
So the Bills will win their division, I think.
What about Miami? What if Tua has a good year? They end up making it. There's a wild card playoff spot coming out. Let's go back to Indianapolis and Tennessee, and let's talk about some of the other teams.
No shot. No shot. I think Tennessee
wins.
I think Tennessee wins their division. Right? I
Those are
think
bold predictions, son.
this is legit. I think Buffalo wins it. I think Tennessee wins their division. I think the North is going to be a toss up between if
I
Deshaun
agree with
Watson
Steven.
plays, if Deshaun Watson plays, whatever. I don't know. I can't make an AFC North prediction right now, but whoever wins that division, right? And then you move into the AFC West. So that's 3 spots. And then you have 4 more spots to fill. So it'll be, I think, playoff locks. I think the Chargers and Chiefs both make the playoffs, right? Then you have a toss up. I think the teams, I don't even know if the Chiefs are a lock right now. I think it's going to be a battle for those wild card spots between the Colts, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Bengals right now.
What about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Seemingly,
Sure.
they're probably going to have Mitchell Trubisky starting as a quarterback, and they're going to have a really good, formidable running game. They have an underrated wide receivers, and they have a great defense. What about Pittsburgh?
This is going to be the most competitive AFC conference that we've ever seen. You need to win 10 games to make the playoffs this year.
Okay.
I think that's how it's going to be.
10 games this year. Yeah, I could see that. In the AFC?
I think you need to win 10 games to be in the playoffs this year.
It might even be 11 in the AFC, Jacob.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. This is it's a crazy year. Obviously, there's injuries and everything that happens, and you can't predict any of that. But on paper right now, man, it's going to be competitive. Where did Kansas City get better?
Well, if I'm not mistaken,
only got worse. They have no formidable receiving options right now besides Travis Kelce. But at the receiver position, they have no one.
Didn't they just recently get Juju Smith-Schuster?
Come on. He's on a 1-year deal. He's on a prove-it deal. They clearly don't believe in him that much.
It's not the point of not believing in him. They're also being very smart. Let's just be honest. Of course they're going to believe in him. And especially on a prove-it deal, he's banking on himself. That brother's going to be balling. Let me tell you something.
Listen,
I'll tell you what. He's going to have, I'm going to make you another predictions. 100 catches plus and over 1,300 yards receiving.
That's fair. He's
their only option. That's an easy one.
I don't know. Let's see. The Broncos, my big thing with the Broncos, right? Russ, I love Russ. And I think this is where you start to see, if you want a guy who's going to finish like that, and you want a guy who's going to Pro Bowl, Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is going to have a year this year. You want another one? Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton's going to have a DK Metcalf-like year this year. I really do think that. These receivers on Denver are not bad, man. They are good.
Listen,
they are good from the top down.
I'm not saying that they're horrible. The issue is going to be the quarterback play. You heard it. I said it. Quarterback play. And let me know why I'm telling you this. Russell Wilson is not a 40 attempt quarterback per game. Mm-hmm. He's not. Okay, he has to play in a very ball-controlled offense. He has to have a significant running game to make his life easy back in that pocket. But that's any quarterback. But there's some quarterbacks that really thrive strictly in a passing game, such as a Tom Brady. No, he hasn't. You look up his stats that he has to throw more than 35 times a game. You're going to be very surprised.
You go back to 2014, 2015, Russ, when the Seahawks won that Super Bowl, when they had Marshawn Lynch. The Seahawks, the Broncos have a formidable running game. They do. Javonte Williams is on the up and up, Harry. His ceiling is top 3 this year.
But back then, the Seattle Seahawks weren't playing in a division quite like this one, Jacob.
No,
where every quarterback is almost in a BA system, Bruce Arians system, where they're going to chuck the ball 40 times a game. And let me tell you something, unless that defense is the best in that division, let me repeat it, the best in that division, Denver's not going to have much success. And that's going to force Russell Wilson to have to throw that ball 35, 40 times a game. Listen, man, I've been watching football a lot of years. I am a huge Russell Wilson fan. Wrong division, wrong system for this young man. They better make sure that they have the most stout defense in the AFC because they're going to need it, especially going up against the Chargers and the Chiefs. And now the Raiders, with what Carr has been doing and the acquisitions that they've made, I'm telling you now, the Denver Broncos, I spell a lot of problems. You have mentioned two really good wide receivers for them. Trust me when I tell you, you better have that running game that's going to average 120 yards on the ground every game. That way, if the Denver Broncos can play super defense and they get over 100 yards a game in rushing, they'll win. They'll win a lot of games.
You know who doesn't have that? Patrick
Who?
Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have a running back that's going to run for 120 yards. He
You're
doesn't.
right.
He doesn't have that. And the better defense is Harry. And this is
They haven't had it in 3 years.
This is a big kryptonite of the Chiefs that we've talked about. Harry, you don't think that these three teams are going to make Patrick Mahomes roll out and make him throw across his body this year?
Oh, like they did before, make him roll out to the right over 88% of the times, and 25% of the times when he rolls to his right, throws across his body. That's why Mahomes has looked pedestrian the past 2 years. Okay? Honestly, I told you that. We sat on this show numerous times, and even my own show saying this. But you know what? You know how defenses catch up to certain players? Well, certain great players catch up to what defenses are doing against them. You're going to see a lot less rolling to his right than you will to his left.
If he does that, then he'll see success. But I need to see
Absolutely.
it before I can just say that. Let's move on.
He's too good. He's too good of a player.
We'll go with two more teams here.
Okay, I love it. Man, this is fun, Jacob. You believe we've already been on for an hour?
I know. This is crazy.
Wow, this is unbelievable.
We'll go with the New York Giants. Their win totals, ready for this, 7.5. Isn't that hilarious?
Under.
But they're banking.
They may not see 7.5 wins in 2 years.
Yeah.
But if they had Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think Steven would agree with me. If they had Ryan Fitzpatrick, they would definitely see 7 wins this year.
Do we see Daniel Jones have a career year this year?
Bro, no. They got Brian Daboll coming in. That offensive line's a mess, and Brian Daboll always uses a 5-man protection. He uses a lot of 5 wideouts. That's going to be the Achilles heel here. Don't get too excited, New York Giants fan. Brian Daboll is not your savior. Not until you change in the entire offensive game plan. You better keep Saquon, though. You better keep Barkley, though.
I have the under for the Giants, too.
No, I don't like it. I love the under.
We'll keep it in MetLife Stadium here with the New York Jets. Their win total's at 5.5. I'm going to say the over because why not?
I'm going to say flip a coin. I don't know.
Over. It's going to be the over.
Until I see not the draft, until I see what they do before the season starts on what acquisitions they're going to make, especially on the offensive line, because the defense on the New York Jets is going to play a lot better in year 2 than they did in year 1. They don't need that much help. It's not hard.
Critical. They were the worst in the league last year.
But that defense is going to get a lot better. I'm going to say they're going to be top 15 this year, which is automatically going to give them a couple more wins because it's going to make them a little closer because they could have won 3 or 4 more ball games this past year if their defense didn't choke. But we're not going to talk about that. It's the offense acquisitions that they're going to make in the offseason, not through the draft.
I think I have to see the draft. I have to see what they do in this draft. I have to see what needs
not the draft.
What they see their weaknesses as. What they see their weaknesses as. That's what they'll address in the draft. That's what I like.
Get with me just before week 1. Get with me just before week 1, and you'll get my pick on the over or under 5.5.
Fair enough. And then one more. We'll go with the Patriots. We'll keep it in the AFC East, Harry. Their totals at 8.5. What do you like?
Okay, that's ironic that it's 8.5 because it originally was set at 10. Then it went to 9.5. Then it went back to 10. It dropped down as low as 8, Jacob, and it's back to 8.5. And I'll tell you why. It's because of what Buffalo and Miami have done in that division. When something seems too good to be true with a Bill Belichick team, it usually is. Bet the under.
Fair enough.
Bet the under 8.5.
All right, Harry, let's get you out of here, man.
Come on, give us one more.
Today. One more? You want one more?
I want one. I want 2 more. Give me 2 more.
2 more? All right. We'll take the Dolphins at 8.5.
Over.
And I'll give you the Saints at 8.5.
Wow. Right before week 1. Get back with me. Keep going. Come on.
Eagles at 8.5.
Under.
That's it. That's all I got on my paper.
No, come on. One more. Come on.
One more, man.
Can we do some? Can I do a baseball one?
The Yankees?
No. No, the Yankees aren't even winning the division this year. Sorry. Let's go Chicago Cubs. Everybody knows I'm not a Cub fan. I'm a huge White Sox fan. The over and under is set at 73. What do you like, over or under?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know anything.
I'm going to say over. This team, here's a bold prediction for you. I'm going to say they go 500 this year. Okay?
Okay.
That's how much I like the over. And don't be surprised by the end of the first half that they're trying to find pitching and more hitting because this team is either going to be in first place or a couple of games out of first.
Yeah, they'll be calling.
That's
They'll be
that's how
calling
much of a sleeper team this Cub team is, huh?
They'll be calling the Yanks about Anthony Rizzo because they'll need him back. All right, Harry, I appreciate you joining me.
Oh man, I had so much fun today. Thank you so much, brother.
The only reason I'm getting you out of here is because I got nothing left on my paper to
Well,
talk.
I gotta go because you know why? Keeneland just opened up this weekend. That's the horse track in Lexington, Kentucky. And I'll tell you what, that's the place that I went to the Breeders' Cup. Shout out to my friend John Cozart with TVG. I'll tell you what, he's the one who made it all happen for me to go up there. Won thousands of dollars when I was up there. I had such a good time. And that became my new favorite horse track. And to be honest with you, as soon as I get off of here, I got to call him because I got to find out who his hot bets are because I have hit the pick 5 3 in a row at Keeneland this weekend. They haven't paid a ton. One of them paid really well, but I want to hit today's pick 5s. Love you, brother. Thank you so much for having me on. I know you're going to let me go ahead and promote myself. Friday nights, over under, right here on 1252 Sports Chicago and or the Sports Web here in the greater Tampa Bay area with Peter Blake. 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central. You can catch us. We also have a segment called Prison Break Hot Takes. Don't miss it, where we have people from the Department of Corrections actually call in and give us their hot takes on what's going on all the sports, from NCAA to the NFL to the MLB to basketball. And now, golf. Don't get it. I'm Harry the Greek. Thank you so much for letting me come on.
Yes, sir, man. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Cheers. Bye.
Yes. All right, guys. And with that, we're going to wrap up today from the Hard Count Football Podcast Live. My name is Jacob Charnow. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Special thanks to Harry the Greek for coming on. As always, be sure to go check out the over-under on Friday nights, like he said. Go follow me on Twitter at Jacob Charnow, Instagram at Hard Count Football, guys. Be sure to check out my draft show, April 29th. I'll be live for the entirety of the draft, like I mentioned at the start of the show. Go subscribe to the Hard Count Football YouTube channel and check out all the other shows from 1252 Sports Chicago. There's a ton going on, guys. If you're watching it today, enjoy baseball, enjoy the Masters. I'll see you all next Sunday morning.